So quite often I get asked what separates a small operator that's doing okay, you know, they might be running a boot camp or something, to one that is actually, you know, doing really well. As we know, the fitness industry is really competitive. You can't walk down a street in a main city these days and not have 2 or 3 different options popping up at you. And what continues a fitness business from being a flash in the pan to being one that is in there for the long term. So we're coming up to 7 years now, 2nd location, 3rd on the way in franchising, and it comes down to one thing, and that is having some really strong functioning systems in place. I know, super boring, but it's true. It's what actually is gonna take your business from, you know, something that you're constantly feeling like you're trying to catch your tail and stay on top of, to one that functions consistently, smoothly, with other people being able to do some of the work. But it also gives you then the chance, if you've got that space, to improve. And if you don't have the systems in place, then we're really just kind of making it up as we go. And it might work for the first little while with it only a small business, but businesses aren't going to grow if you're just making it up as you go. What we spent time doing was building out all our key structures. And for us, when we look at a fitness business, it comes down to 3 key components. It's attraction. So how are we getting the brand name out there? How are we attracting our ideal clients? How are we finding those people that will benefit from what we do and we are a good fit for? Converting, which is actually helping those people move on to trying an intro offer, getting them to actually turn up and come to class, trying the class out, and converting to long-term members. And then retention. So there's no point having this like massive influx of people coming in if you just got a hole in your bucket and everyone's just falling back out the other end. So it's looking after those members that you've got, looking after those clients that you've got, and, you know, constantly evolving and educating and giving them something different, giving people something different that keeps them challenged and keeps them wanting to come back and be part of this culture and community. And, you know, big part of that is creating a culture and community. So what we have is a whole bunch of manuals. Super exciting, I know, but it gave us a chance to really sort of build out what we needed in place. So if you look at some of the first piece, the attraction piece, we need to look at what social media we've got going out there, how often we're posting, what type of posting we've got. So we're not just throwing whatever we want up on Instagram and Facebook. We actually do have a storyboard. We've done the work behind who we are, what we stand for, the way we communicate, and we've got layers of communication channels and layers of communication messages that we have incorporated through our channels, social media channels, to make sure that we're putting the right information in front of the right people. And so this is what we follow, and then we make sure that we're collecting the content, so the pictures and the videos, and putting together all that sort of stuff to be able to put it up into our social media feeds. You've also got your communications as well. So, you know, people that have at some stage registered interest with you, but, you know, they might no longer be with you, or they haven't actually started yet. It's getting emails in front of them, it's getting text messages in front of them, and it's also just getting the word out through word of mouth, through PR, that sort of stuff as well. So that's kind of the top layer, if you want to think about a funnel of the attraction. And then the next piece is the more pinpointed, so the paid advertising. So making sure that we're talking to our ads agency and they're speaking in our language, our brand voice, that they know what offers are coming up, that we're changing up the copy, we've got new collateral going to them. And then that funnels down into people that have actually registered interest to come along and try out the intro offer. And so we have these manuals in place that doesn't matter who it is, could be me, could be, you know, someone down the road, generally not, but it doesn't matter who's in charge. They're following the same processes. So when a lead comes in, this is what, you know, this is the first step that we need to do with them. This is what we need to do to ensure that we're tracking, so we're following up with them, so they're not just kind of dropping through the cracks, or, you know, we might have one touch point with them and then we forget about them and we never see them again. You need all of these processes in place to be able to capture and look after and nurture these people through, so then you can help them get started trying out a class. Look, a lot of people, they might have just registered not realizing what they're doing and we're not the right fit, and that's fine. The way that you speak and your brand voice, your communication should help segment out those that do meet or do fit our culture and our community, and we will be a really great help for, compared to those that, maybe we're not the right fit for. So we got all of this stuff kind of at the front end with this attraction piece. And then the second piece of the puzzle is the conversion. So you need all of the systems around how do we actually make sure that we are capturing those people in class or following them up via phone call or text message towards the end of their intro offers. Because there's no point someone finishing an intro offer and then 3 months down the track we realize they've finished and then try and get them back in. It doesn't work like that. So, creating that relationship with people sounds easy, but you need a system behind it to ensure that that actually happens. And so we've spent a lot of time building that out, and also there's manuals and processes in place to help us do that. And then the final piece of the puzzle is the retention. So what is it that we need to do? So we're managing our members. So we need to know who's bumping up, who's bumping down, who's going on hold, who's going on a long-term hold. Someone might have injured themselves and they need to go on hold for, an undisclosed amount of time. We want to be able to put a task in place. We want to have a process in place to be able to pick those guys back up, pick those people back up, in 3 months' time, to see how they're going, see if they're, how their injury's progressing, if they're ready to, to rejoin or restart. And then, looking after people that are on member challenges, how are we nurturing those guys through and making sure that they are, filling in their accountability sheets, they're checking in, they're doing the requirements of the challenge, that sort of stuff. So as you can see, guys, there is, a huge number of different systems and structures, and it can be completely overwhelming when you first start. But that's, effectively a big learning curve that most businesses should be going on if they want to be able to grow. If you're not looking at ways that you can put systems in place and then always constantly reviewing those systems and looking at ways that you can improve those systems, they're not going to improve, and you're not going to go much further than where you are right now. It's always coming down to having these systems in place so you can replicate them moving forward. And so that's effectively the biggest thing that I can, biggest piece of advice I can give those out there that are thinking about, or even running their own business and they're only just started and they're finding it, a bit overwhelming. It's take one piece at a time and start implementing some systems. And you won't get them right the first time. It's taken us years to trial and test this system and that system, and changing programs here and adding this in there, and finding the sweet spot, I guess, what works, what's not, what's a mixture of some automation, some manual contact, and making sure that throughout all of the systems you're still being you, and they work for you and they work for the results and the goals that you have for your business as well.